Only in Kentucky can a rural farming town accidentally become the underwear capital of the world, and a historic stone mansion get picked up and moved down the highway just to make room for a shopping plaza. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm learning a little bit more about Kentucky, one county at a time, all 120 of them. And today, I'm learning about Taylor County. If you look at a map of Kentucky, Taylor County is geographically shaped like a heart. The locals will be the first to tell you that they actually might be the beating heart of the Commonwealth. In fact, there's a stone marker sitting right in front of the Montgomery Library at Campbellsville University, placed there by the United States Coast Guard in 1916, declaring the town the exact geographic center of the state. Neighboring counties love to dispute the math used to calculate that exact pinpoint at the time, but Taylor County holds onto the title of the center of Kentucky with confidence. The physical landscape is in the Pennyrile region. The eastern side of the county is defined by heavily wooded hills that reach up to 1,200 feet, which eventually give way to rolling countryside and the broad, fertile floodplains of the Green River in the west. For thousands of years, Woodland and Mississippian peoples used the Green River valleys, but modern development and centuries of farming have erased almost the entire physical footprint of those ancient cultures. Today, the only official record of ancient Native American habitation is a single burial site logged in the Federal Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act database, with remains held by the University of Kentucky. European settlement kicked off in earnest after the Revolutionary War, when land-hungry farmers from Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and North Carolina pushed through the Appalachian Mountains. In 1814, an ambitious migrant named Andrew Campbell bought up a tract of land, built a gristmill and a tavern, and started selling off lots to travelers. By 1817, the town of Campbellsville was officially born. As the population grew and the stagecoach routes brought a steady stream of frontier traffic, the state legislature officially carved Taylor County out of neighboring Greene County in 1848, making it the 100th county in Kentucky. The city of Campbellsville agreed to sell the public square to the new county government for exactly $1 so a courthouse could be built there. They named the new territory for General Zachary Taylor, a military hero who would go on to become the President of the United States. As the county expanded, tiny rural communities sprouted up at the dirt road intersection. Some of them got their names from local geography or from the pioneers who founded them. Mannsville was named after Moses Mann, a Revolutionary War veteran who discovered a highly valuable salt lick on the site. The community of Elk Horn was allegedly named after a pair of elk antlers found displayed at a local mill. But the absolute best origin story, in my opinion, talked about it before, belongs to a tiny community shared with Greene County. According to local lore, residents had just finished putting a fresh coat of white paint on their new one-room schoolhouse. The wet paint immediately attracted a massive, inescapable swarm of annoying insects, and the name Black Gnat officially stuck to the map forever. In 1823, a German immigrant named Jacob Hiestand built a 2-story stone house just outside of Campbellsville. He used dry construction methods, stacking local coarse limestone and sealing it entirely with clay and lime mortar. It features arched stone fireplaces and an accompanying stone spring house. It's one of only 12 German stone houses like that left in the entire state. But the most amazing part of the house's history didn't happen in the 1800s. It happened in 1988. In that year, a commercial developer bought the surrounding land to build a massive shopping plaza. Instead of letting the bulldozers destroy a piece of pioneer history, the county rallied. The entire stone house, along with its accompanying quarter-acre family cemetery, was physically separated from the earth, picked up, and moved half a mile down the road. Today, it operates as the Hiestand House Taylor County Museum. The preservation of history is critical because Taylor County witnessed some of the most intense and violent action during the Civil War. By the summer of 1863, Confederate John Hunt Morgan was executing a massive cavalry raid through the state. And on the morning of July 4th, Morgan rode toward the Green River Bridge at Tebbs Bend with 2,000 heavily armed cavalrymen and artillery. Standing in his way was Union Colonel Orlando Moore and just 200 men from the 25th Michigan Infantry. The vast majority of Moore's men were recent Dutch immigrants who were literally receiving their battlefield commands in Dutch. Moore, of course, knew he was ridiculously outnumbered, so he ordered his men to chop down trees to create a jagged defensive wall. When Morgan arrived, he sent a flag of truce and demanded that the Union troops surrender to avoid a slaughter. Colonel Moore sent a message right back, stating, "It's a bad day for surrender, and I would rather not." Kind of cool. Over the next 3 hours, Morgan ordered 8 separate frontal assaults against the Union wall, and every single one was violently repulsed. The Michigan sharpshooters were absolutely lethal, specifically targeting the Confederate leadership on horseback and killing 24 of Morgan's experienced officers. Local historians note that the blood literally ran down the yard and into the Turnpike Road. Nearby, the Atkinson Griffin log house was converted into a Confederate hospital to handle the sheer volume of casualties. Morgan was finally forced to ask for a truce just so he could bury his dead in a mass grave, and his crippled cavalry retreated. The defeat at Tebb's Bend completely derailed Morgan's momentum and also, I guess, foreshadowed the ultimate failure of his great northern raid. Later that year, the war spilled directly into downtown Campbellsville. Confederate General H.B. Lyon rode into town and set the Wood and Taylor County courthouse on fire because Union troops had been using it as a barracks. That and Confederates just don't like courthouses. They burned a lot of them. But the locals knew the raid was coming in an act of incredible foresight. Citizens managed to haul the county's vital records out of the building before the Confederates arrived, saving the town's legal history from turning to ash. After the war, the county rebuilt the courthouse out of brick and settled into an agricultural rhythm. Farmers grew tobacco and corn, while local mills processed timber and grain. The arrival of the Cumberland and Ohio Railroad in 1879 provided a massive commercial boost, transforming Campbellsville from a muddy stagecoach stop into a connected regional hub. But despite the new rail access, Taylor County largely remained a sleepy farming community for the next 70 years. That all changed in 1948. That year, the Union Underwear Company opened a textile plant in Campbellsville. It was a small, modest start, but the facility grew at a terrifying, unprecedented rate. It eventually evolved into Fruit of the Loom and completely swallowed the town's identity. By 1989, the Campbellsville plant was, I guess, officially recognized as the largest underwear factory in the entire world. It was an unstoppable economic engine that employed over 3,000 people. Almost every single family in the county had someone working on that factory floor, sewing garments, loading trucks, or managing the floor. I say unstoppable, but that's not quite the case because the bottom fell out. In 1998, corporate cost-cutting measures and the push for cheaper overseas labor led to Fruit of the Loom shutting down the Campbellsville plant. Thousands of jobs vanished into thin air. Right around the same time, Indiana-based Batesville Casket Company also closed its doors. It was the kind of catastrophic overnight economic devastation that turned small towns into permanent ghost towns. But Taylor County refused to die. Instead of folding, local leadership completely rewired the economy. They leaned heavily into the local university and leveraged their geography to attract a totally new wave of industry. Campbellsville University, originally founded back in 1906 as the tiny Russell Creek Academy, has grown into a massive educational anchor. It enrolls thousands of students and pumps over $100 million into the local economy every year, serving as the county's largest single employer. The area also aggressively courted international manufacturing to fill the void left by the textile mills. They developed the Heartland Commerce and Technology Park, transforming empty land into certified build-ready sites. Today, international auto parts suppliers like Murakami and Infac employ hundreds of people, with Infac recently announcing a $53 million expansion. Pardon me if that's not even how you pronounce the name. Cox Industries churns out heavy metal fabrication, and Amazon runs a pretty big fulfillment center that provides roughly 1,000 jobs there. The county also learned to lean into its natural resources. Back in 1964, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began construction on the Green River Dam to prevent the catastrophic seasonal flooding that constantly wiped out the local river bottom farms. Completed in 1969, the $103 million project created the 8,200-acre Green River Lake. Today, the lake and its accompanying state park serve as a major tourist magnet. Anglers and campers and boaters from across the region all visit, and injecting serious cash into the local retail and hospitality sectors. We have some interesting events happening there in Taylor County, but at the home place on Green River, a historic 200-year-old working farm, locals gather every April for Spring Plow Day to watch traditional tractor parades and heritage farming demonstrations. But the most surreal event happens out at the local Taylor County Airport. Every July, the county hosts Jets Over Kentucky, widely considered one of the premier radio-controlled jet air shows on the planet. Folks will gather to watch turbine-powered RC fighter jets scream over rural Kentucky farmland. Taylor County has produced some athletic talent as well. It started with Clem Haskins, who grew up in the segregated era, starred at the newly integrated Taylor County High School, and went on to a successful career as a first-round NBA draft pick and major college basketball coach. That legacy of outperforming expectations carried over into the golf course with J.B. Holmes. After mastering the local links and starring at Taylor County High, Holmes joined the PGA Tour, racking up multiple wins and representing the United States in the Ryder Cup. Today, the population is around 26,000. So, that's Taylor County. What'd I get wrong this time?